already know the company is putting out its best products ever. But there was a time, back in the 90s, when a half-hearted sports car called the Tiburon was all it had for the enthusiast. A few years later we got the Hyundai Genesis Coupe, what I'd call a three-quarter-hearted attempt. It was good-looking, rear-wheel drive, and decently powerful, but lacked the dynamics, not to mention the clutch and steering feel, of something truly sporty. That brings us to now, the second generation of the three-door, odd-looking Veloster hatch and the new N brand, which promises sports cars in the mold of Audi's RS cars or Mercedes-AMG. High hopes for sure, but the company is done messing around. For starters, it hired BMW M brand boss Albert Biermann to lead the N division. And he is not shy about talking up his new pet project. The 250 HP, 260 lb-foot of torque, 6-speed manual-equipped Veloster N stands on 3 pillars, one for each door. He says it's corner-hungry. It's an everyday sports car. It's racetrack capable. After driving it on the road course, and autocross course, I can agree on all 3 counts. The key to this car, and keeping this car cheap, is doing stuff in-house. The engine is the company's 2.0-liter turbocharged, direct-injected 4-cylinder. It shares duty in some of the group's other products, including the Sonata, current Genesis G70 and some Kias. Its 13-inch front, 11.8-inch rear brakes are from the Optima. The seats and brakes are made in-house. Upgraded brake discs are offered, also from in-house, as are upgraded brake pads, also produced in-house. An electronic limited slip differential, part of the $2,000 performance package, along with a 25 HP bump, PV's power in the front, and an electronically controlled suspension tightens and loosens up the chassis depending on drive mode. The Veloster N has rev matching too, and comes in at less than $28,000 base, less than $30,000 with the recommended, by me, performance pack. That price undercuts the Honda Civic Type R by about $5 grand. The Volkswagen Golf GTI, another close competitor, starts at $26,000 but is down either 30 or 55 HP, and the all-wheel drive Subaru WRX starts at $27,000. The Veloster is smaller in length than most of its competitors, and it's shorter and lighter too. It looks aggressive, but not nearly as wild as the Type R or WRX. And don't laugh at that third door, it would seem to be useful for schlepping a kid or two. The cargo area looks a little small, but the seats do fold down. Walking up to this hatch at Thunderhill Raceway in California, the first thing I spot is the wing with carbon fiber end caps. The grille is aggressive too, with winglets and ducting to keep the brakes cool. It also looks very low. Not low to ground, low from the ground to the roof. The Veloster N comes up to my mid-torso, which is short, in car terms. The powder blue, which is Hyundai's new N color, is the best. Red, black and white are fine too, but blue will be the one to have when selling. The view from the Veloster cockpit is surprisingly good, as is the headroom. The switchgear looks average, but everything is easy to see and reach. The back seats look a little tight, though in my driving fast seat position, an adult human could fit back there. I hit the autocross course first, and a rarity for these type of events it's time. I'm instructed to get it into second as fast as possible and just work the chunky steering wheel and upgraded brakes in N race mode. This is a 275 HP performance package model, so it gets 19-inch wheels shod in Pirelli P0 tires. Normal models come with 18s and Michelins, and, as a dealer-installed option, you can get near slick Pirelli Trofeo Rs. Hyundai's not messing around with N. On the 42nd course, I can feel the front electronic limited slip differential working in the corners. And I'm listening to the tires sing while nearly overdriving it, but there's no danger here, no walls to hit, no other cars to take out, just cones. The steering heft is about right, though even with the P0s, there isn't much road feel/feedback. What I do sense is a bit of torque steer, but more often pulling the car straight out of turns, as opposed to pulling it off course on a straight. That's the beauty of the front differential. The clutch is easy to press and catches extremely low in the stroke, like a Miata. The Veloster N has a defeatable rev matching function, but I leave it on. Bierman reiterated what we already know: it can do it better, faster than you can. On an unfamiliar autocross, that's fine. The short wheelbase makes it dance a little under hard braking, but if you get the weight transfer right, the front end sticks hard, holding the inside line of short orange cones around a turn. The acceleration is smooth, refined. It doesn't feel stressed and manic at high RPM like the Civic Type R. Only when the race car pops start coming from the exhaust on rundown do I remember that this is a serious car, despite its boyish looks. On the autocross course and at the east course of Thunderhill, the perceived lack of danger makes me go faster, push it a little further as the laps go by. The layout of Thunderhill East isn't complicated, but the elevation adds a hefty penalty for getting one of its cresting, blind apexes wrong. Turn 5 is called the Cyclone and it feels like a 40-foot drop from apex to the next turn. In the Veloster N, it could be taken flat out. But after trying to cheat it once and ending up on the wrong side of the track pointing into the dirt, I reel in my verve. Regardless of how you go over it, you have to wait until the weight plants before making a move towards the next turn. I rush it, the car pivots, but the traction control kicks in and yanks the back end straight. All of the cars we drive are equipped with the upgraded track brakes, the most aggressive of the three. They will squeak here and there, but for me the trade-off is easy. They have a good pedal feel all day, even on my last and best lap. Actually, my last lap was in a separate Veloster N shot with those Trofeo R tires I was talking about. That handful of laps is quieter, cleaner, and probably safer than all of the previous. It feels about 25% better in every dimension: braking, cornering, accelerating out of corners. But one would really have to have a lot of track days scheduled to get that option, which will probably be an expensive one. They're about $400 a piece at Tire Rack. Later on the road the Veloster turns out to be plenty soft in normal mode for everyday driving and average roads. Like I said, it's not high-strung, which almost fools you into thinking you're going slower than you actually are. A few times I look up and see 70 miles per hour in fourth, a good 20 miles per hour over the posted limit. In N mode it's definitely more communicative of the speeds. As for drawbacks, there really aren't many. It is a little smaller than the competition. It looks a little wild, but an adult could surely drive this, as opposed to the Civic Type R, which might be a little too fast and furious for most. The interior switchgear is a little plain and plastic, but everything is where it needs to be. The shifter features some cool design touches for a sort of industrial look. The central screen also looks tacked onto the dash. They look way better when integrated. And that's about it. The Veloster N is a very good enthusiast car. I don't know if there's a car I'd pick over this at less than $30,000. A basic Subaru WRX competes, as does the BRZ and Toyota 86 for the enthusiast. A VW Golf GTI is there too, but the Focus ST will be gone soon as Ford pivots away from passenger cars. This is a hot hatch, in the vein of the old and fantastic Mazda Speed 3. And this is way better and more refined, and possibly faster than that car. Hyundai has only sold about 9,000 Velosters this year in total, which puts it way down the sales list, but it is up more than 50% from last year. This new N brand is coming, so expect to see more NS soon, along with an N line that will feature some visual upgrades but without the hardcore performance. If Hyundai continues to put its whole heart into it, Like it did with this Veloster, we expect big things.